another Legends episode coming to you every Friday. I've got somebody very special. He's unique. He is legendary. Okay. He's also part of, I would call like the Hollywood scene, but I'll let him explain. Hey guys, let's get legends. And yes, Marco Palos. Boom.
Hey everybody, how you doing, Kevin?
Hey Marcos, thank you so much for your time. You're kind of like in between gigs, you're driving places, doing things. So I appreciate you very much.
Yeah,
I
thank you
want to
for
get into
having me
the
on Legends.
Oh, thank you so much, Marco. So forgive me, I'm excited, so I might talk too much, but this is about you. Marco, give us the journey of you being in real estate, going from that to pursuing a career in music. I mean, come on. It sounds glamorous, but it doesn't sound realistic, but you're doing it. So explain to us that kind of
Sure.
that journey, that genre, and that change, that shift in your universe.
All right. Well, gosh, I would say I was going to college trying to figure out exactly where I was going to go in life, and through a financial aid opportunity, I got a job as an assistant in a real estate office. I started off with doing listings, then got promoted to an escrow office manager, and basically within the 5 years I was there, I had learned everything about the business, that the way my bosses ran it, and it was a great learning opportunity. And honestly, a lot of the things that I learned at that time, I was also applying the parallels to what I was doing in music, because in 2002, at the same time that I started real estate, I also started a band that I still have today. And so through, I mean, all the checklists that we go through to sign the contracts and everything, all those little things gave me ideas like, oh, okay, maybe I should do something similar on a musician contract, on a venue contract, and sure enough, whenever we presented our contracts musically to any client that we'd get over the years, then it was like nobody questioned it. Everyone was like, this is legit, this is great. And so that through that, I started learning and building my business. Now, in 2007, my bosses wanted to retire. They they told me, they said, hey, we've got a great position lined up for you. It happened to be at a Keller Williams. And
Okay.
if you'd like, because they're doing like a transition retirement, like they're going to get rid of their office and go into another office as a co-broker and then just phase out. Um, and so I was going there, and I mean, they offered me the position, and I said, I feel like this is my sign. This is my opportunity to start doing what I've been trying to do. You know, I've been wanting to do, and I have been working towards simultaneously while working here in real estate. So that was when I helped them move. I helped them do all the things. Every now and then I would come in to do a couple of jobs they needed for the first 6-8 months or so, and then. But since then, I've just been doing music full time, and it was, like you said, it wasn't easy. A lot of sacrifice involved. You miss as a musician. You realize, as a full time musician, you realize that holidays don't exist on the same schedule. While the family's getting together on a Saturday, you are driving down to work, so to speak. Going to your gig and going to everything, and so I did miss a lot of family events. I did miss a lot of things, but I did try to spend as much time as I could with whenever I could with my family, and they eventually understood. Eventually understood what I was doing and what I was going for. And it wasn't until finally I started working at Disney that my family actually started to see, oh, this can actually be something. So through Disney, I got in there, and I just kind of observed. And then once I realized who was who, who knows what, I worked my way into finding a way to get my band into the park as a contracted band. So
No way, Marco. So, okay, so in fairness, you were in business. You really had exponential growth. You're in many different divisions. You learned the business side of it. So you almost took that into your creative side, right? Because that's where the
yes,
success comes from. Because there's a lot of talented people out there, but they're going nowhere because they just can't manage themselves.
it's hard. Mhm. I know a lot of musicians out there that they admit, they're like, I don't know anything about the business. And in my years of learning things, I've always tried to pass on as much information as I can to fellow band leaders, band members, band just musicians out trying to make that. I, you know, as in the nights that I would go out somewhere, I'd meet some musicians, and then I'd see this group of kids that were just like totally, you know, being major fans over what's happening, and I'd go chat with them, and I discovered like they're about to graduate. They have no idea what to do with their lives, and I was like, look, you know, I had like a 1-2 hour conversation with these kids, and by the time they were done, they're like, wow, like this should be a class in college. Like they should teach us this stuff. And thankfully, I'm starting to hear that more of this stuff. There are starting to be schools that are incorporating this, and trying to teach the kids and graduates what to do after they graduate. Because really, in school, they teach you all of the mechanics to being a musician. You know, the technicalities.
Yeah, and almost the basics. Hey, but they don't really teach you the business side of it, how to pursue it in success, in a successful way, not just in a.
Now they're starting
talented.
to. Right. Okay. Now they're starting to, and now it's becoming a thing. But that wasn't there all these years, and especially when I was trying to figure this out. You know, it was kind of like I dove all in, and the way I saw it was my investment in myself was equivalent to a student investing into their college career. You know, a student will take out $100,000 loan or whatever. You know, I consider my loan maybe like a $20,000 loan that I basically lived on to figure things out, and I learned about myself, and essentially I built my own business, which is my band now, that has been working with Disney, working with multiple places, and has honestly, of all the musical projects that I do combined, they help me live very comfortably. But if I were to just have one, it gets me by financially. And for me, and as many of us all think, you know, success is what you define it to be. Like for me, my success, I want to be able to go take my lady out to dinner, enjoy a good night out in town, and just not worry about it, right? And I just, you know, pay the bills, get, you know, you know, and be able to invest in what I can in when the opportunity comes, and create my music though, and have the time and freedom to create my music. And over the years, the time that I put into becoming this now, I have the freedom to where this last year of the pandemic, while, you know, it was mentally rough, I thankfully have been able to get by, and actually invest a lot of my time into creating, which allowed me to the song that you got to hear. That's the first song I've released of a solo project that I've been putting off for years, just because I was so busy traveling all from band to band to stage. I mean, I kid you not, some nights I'd be Friday night in London, Saturday afternoon in Malibu, performing, and it was always like that. I was just hopping on a plane and wherever to the next city, the next thing, and it was great. It was wonderful. But coming out of this, I'm like, all right, now that I've lived that, and now that I've had this break to explore the creativity, I'm gonna get back into it, but I'm gonna come back a little different now. And I feel like I can do this a little better for my own mental health also, but also for just what I really define as my success. And so that's
and
go ahead.
Okay, could you think that's almost like freedom, Marco? Because, you know, you're kind of bound to the schedule that's driving you forward, and it is fueling you. And I heard your song, and would it be okay if I share the song in the description box below?
You're happy? Yeah, please do.
I listened to, I mean, it was beautiful. I listened over and over again. Like, Marco, this is just divine. So, Marco, what I'm hearing is you kind of, you find your passion, which is music. Amen. I mean, you know, because you know you've come across many people that are seeking their passion, or they want to do their passion. They just don't know how. You're actually doing, which is great, because for me, it was film. Well, it was actually fashion design, which took me into filmmaking, but then it got me into business because I just wasn't successful in. I love both those industries, but I just couldn't kind of have the breakthrough, you know, the breakthrough effect and become successful at it. And, you know, I'm selling homes. But that's why I like the show, Mark, is I learn from people like you. So you actually pursue your passion. What advice do you have? What can you give to people that can live that kind of that freedom that you have? And also, and before you go there, let's talk self-discovery, because you are and I mean this in a sincere, you're a character within yourself. You've designed, you've created this human being that is unique. How did you mold that, Marco?
Gosh, I would say a lot more of it has come in my later years than my younger years. In my younger years, I would say that there was this confidence in knowing that there's always a solution. There's always something. This is almost kind of the answer to the first part, which coincides with the second. But pardon me. Um, no matter what problem or whatever was presented to me, in my head, I never saw it as a roadblock. I never allowed myself to think this is the end. There's nothing left. There's always a solution. It just depends how bad you want it. And you have to decide. Sometimes you have to make different lifestyle choices. Sometimes you have to cut your budget. Sometimes you got to do different things. Sometimes you got to live uncomfortably for a little while so that you enjoy the greater things later. It's up to you. It's completely up to you. Your entire life is up to you and how much you actually want this, because no matter what it is, it's like, for example, I have friends who constantly tell me, like, who see this and they gave up. They say, gosh, I wish I could have done that, but I was worried about my bills. I was worried about this. You know what I say? Like, for me personally, although this is my way of doing it, at one point I said, the bills will figure themselves out. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not the first person to ever be in debt, and I won't be the last. But I can figure it out. And thank God I did. I mean, I did it. I did it unafraid. And every time that I found a solution, it gave me more confidence to just keep going and trust my gut, trust myself, keep moving forward. Like you say, it was just, I didn't allow anything to slow me down. And then even when you find along the way, sometimes there's people who try to latch onto you because they know you're going somewhere, right? And once you start to realize that they are not contributing to anything, you got to cut the cord, man. You got to start letting go of the people who hold you down. You could, my I don't want to say it's a problem, but my thing is, I love to help to a fault. Sometimes I will give people the benefit of the doubt for the longest time, and I will try to just help them in every way I can, to where it starts to bring me down. And then I realize, like, this is not healthy. There's a certain point where if someone's not willing to help themselves, you're not going to make a difference for them.
Right.
So
you can't please everybody here, Marco.
Exactly. You have to cut the rope sometimes, and it hurts. It hurts because you love these people, you care about them, and you want to see them succeed. But at some point, cutting that rope almost does better for them, because then they realize they don't have that lifeline anymore, and they're forced to be in the same position you were when you're trying to figure stuff out and find your solutions. So you'll go on.
So you're actually you're enabling them to be interdependent and dependent on you, because sometimes because Marco, I'm like you, I can spot talent when I see somebody with a good skill, or like I can see you got talent, I can see your creative force. I can. Okay. It's almost like Simon Cowell. He's got this success rate where if he says you're going to be a rock star, you'll go to the moon and back.
Right.
But sometimes people can't see how great they are, but you can. Right? Exactly. So sometimes you have to guide them, and it's almost like letting them go sometimes, and they have to fail on their behalf to learn their own lessons, right? Because you can't make them learn the lessons themselves. And you can't take responsibility for their mistakes either.
Right. And a lot of times you want to, in the same way that my mom and dad have wanted to protect me growing up in certain things and prevent me from having certain experiences that they've had. It's like, I get that feeling. I understand that, because I have seen that with my friends, and I've wanted to help in so many ways. But there does come that point, you got to cut the cord and just keep going, and then they'll catch up. Eventually they'll wisen up, or maybe they won't, and but they find whatever they're meant to do, whatever they're happy with. And ultimately, again, only you can decide what that is for you, and you have to decide. Like I said, that's why you have to make the choices that will get you wherever you want to go. If that's in my younger years, if there was anything I would do differently, I wouldn't have bought the car I bought back in 2007. I would have put that money into something else. But that was like, I was like, but at the same time, though,
that's another ego. That's the other ego. Yeah.
Exactly. At the same time, though, I kind of let that be motivation. I said, all right, I'm about to like be on my own. If I can afford this car, and I force myself to work hard to make sure I don't lose this car. And here I am. I still got the car. It's still running all these years later.
That's great.
And it's great. And so it's like, yeah, but you're right. That ego, you got to be careful if you're, especially if you're watching this and you're in the younger years and you want to, trust me, put that money into something else and get your car later, get your shoes, get your watch, get whatever you want later. Wait, it's worth waiting, especially if you can put that money into your career. Because what I did after I started realizing was I put everything that I earned back right into my career to invest, and it has paid back in every which way and more. Because now, again, going back to that thing you said about freedom, I feel a bit more freedom to be able to choose. I've got a good problem on my hands where I've got too many options at the moment, and I don't mean this at all to brag or anything, not at all. It's just there's so many people who are having trouble trying to find one solution. But it's like when you dedicate your entire life, your entire being into becoming what you want to be, it's like suddenly you will find yourself in a place years later where you're like, I'm here now. I get to choose. Now I get to choose which road I want to take, and I can say no, and it's okay. And I can go, and I could even start over if I wanted to, because that's
Right.
another thing is we're not as old as we might think, no matter where we are in our life.
And Marco, you're also mature now where you can make smarter decisions. Because when you're
Yes.
young, you're just kind of winging it, you're faking it, you're trying to make it happen, you're just
Mm-hmm.
getting through your hustling. And of course, more power to you, you have to do those things. But with
Mm-hmm.
you now, you're at a position in your life where you can pick and choose, and you're starting to, what I'm hearing, you're starting to pace yourself better, and you're
Yes.
starting to enjoy more because you're aware of what you've created. You're self-aware, and now
Exactly.
but you've also set up a business where it's also working for you. You're not in the business, you're on top of the business, massaging and helping you drive it forward, where most people,
Mm-hmm.
either they're working in a business for somebody else to make them successful,
Right.
or when they do
Right.
get in, when they do start their own business, they're so delved into their own business, they can't get out of it, and they're so micromanaging and kind of lose the plot, right? Where you now are
Right.
on the business, you still own it,
Mm-hmm.
but when you remove yourself, it's still churning. You're still, things are happening, your gigs are going, you can come and go. You know when you have to show up and not show up.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for your time, Marco. I want to leave with this. I want you to give us, because this is purely about mindset and passion and living the dream that we'd want to design, right? Like the fashion
Mm-hmm.
designer, rock star, billionaire. It's all good, trillionaire. It's all good. Honestly, all good. More power to anybody that has that mindset. And by the way, I don't know you're wearing pink. So
I
me
know.
and you,
I love
are in a
it.
good. We're confident enough to say, hey, we dig pink. It's okay, you know.
I
And
love
I was
it.
like,
Yeah.
hey, me and Marco, we're on the same wavelength. But I had to interview you, Marco, because you're a very unique kind of character, and I love that about you because it crosses over into your talent as well. And I'll share, guys. I'm going to share songs. I'm going to share you some of Marco's marketing with you. It's very sexy, but it's super cool, super cool. Marco, what's the one thing you can leave us with in a sense of pursuing our dreams and our desires and our passions?
Okay. This answer changes every time, often, because it depends on where I'm at in my life. But the biggest thing, and it's something you just tapped on just lightly right before asking this, is self-awareness. Some people, not everyone is going to be meant to run your own business. Some people are not cut out for it, and that's okay. Some people are wonderful at being organized, and they could make a great number two in a business. They could make a great number three. They could make a great whatever. Not everybody is cut out for this, and that's okay. And when you can realize that, you go for it, or be the best number two that you can be. Because then the thing is, when you are the number one for many, many years, you're going to give up a lot of time, and you got to realize that if that's what you want, okay, cool, go for it. But that means less family time, less whatever it is, all on the way there. If family time is important to you now, then take that number two, take that number three spot, do it. But be self-aware over everything. Just be self-aware of what you can do, what you know you can do. And even when you have a little doubt and you're unsure, try it, because you have time. You can afford the time to make mistakes. You've got, all of us, life is short. Okay, let me just throw this in.
Yes, yes,
Life
yes.
is so short. I lost my sister when she was 18.
Oh.
She didn't get to experience her whole life. Like she was going on her way to be a nurse. right? So in that sense, yes, life can go like that. Life can change. Suddenly, we're like, we're only going to be closing the world down for 2 weeks, and suddenly 15 months later, here we are, right? Life can change like that. And while it is very fast, you have more time than you think to experiment, try, take chances, just be self-aware and just go for it and take those chances and just understand that there is risk with it, but there's also possibly great reward. And I hope that everyone out there who listens to this finds this. You find some sort of motivation here to just give whatever it is that you have a try. And remember, you have to make those life choices along the way. You have to adjust. You have to do whatever it takes to get there. And when you're there, pass it forward. Always pay it forward. Keep giving it to the
Oh,
next generation.
oh, that's
Always give it
beautiful.
to the next generation, because I'm able to do this because in a way, and I feel like I advanced and saved probably at least 5 or 10 years of mistakes because I had mentors along the way who helped me.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So,
Yep, absolutely.
so
Yep.
always, whenever you can, you like the way you and I can spot talent with people. It's if when you see that in someone, give it to them and give them the opportunity to rise and shine or make the mistakes and learn whatever they have to learn to keep making it better for the generations beyond us.
I
That's
love that.
as much as I could say.
Yes, Marco, Palos, amazing, legend, dude. I'm gonna be sharing your music. I'm gonna be sharing your talent all over the place. This will be
Thank
going
you,
live.
Kevin.
This will be going live. You're awesome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your beautiful words. Marco, you're a remarkable human being, and I mean that sincerely. Your time is very special to us, and I hope that this episode changes many, 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 many lives. Thank you, Marco.
Thank you. I hope so too. Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. I really honored to be here. Thank you.
Be blessed.
Likewise. Thank you.